Welcome to Chaotic Wonderful. And this is the Monster Care Squad. I'll turn it over to our lovely GM in just a moment. As soon as I mentioned a few things, uh, just the big things to know is that we have one more Slayers game and one more Monster of the Week game left before we take our season break. Those will be the alternating Thursdays, I believe. And next Tuesday, join us for Call of Cthulhu. And then after all of that, we'll be on break until the 11th of August. And then we will have also Quest RPG for the next season. So we'll be casting for all of those lovely things. So definitely look out for that. And I will turn it over to the GM to introduce everything and get us rolling.
Hey everyone, it's me, Glyza. I go by they them, and you can find me all over the internet at Classical Glyza, uh, doing a lot of different things. But don't look for me on Instagram because I'm not there. You won't find me there. I'm non-existent in Instagram, just Twitter. But that's enough about me. Let's get to the more important people of this game. Let's go around and introduce ourselves, starting over to Aubrey. There, look over there.
Hi.
No, over here.
Over
There we go.
here. Yes, where what direction are we anymore? I don't know. But hi, I'm Aubrey. I use she, her pronouns. And tonight I will be playing Kestrel, who also uses she, her pronouns, your local monster wrangler.
And then we have Chickadee next. Hi.
Hi, I'm Chickadee, or Chick for short. I use she, they pronouns, and I'll be playing Carol, a former stay at home mom, using she, her pronouns.
Sweet. And next we're going to go down to introduce uh Hito. Hi.
Hi, my name's Justin or Hitoshira, depending on where you found me. I will be playing Cal, the former personal trainer turned monster veterinarian. Uses he him.
Nice. And last but definitely not the least, we have Alyssa. Woo.
Hello, hello. I'm Alyssa. You can find me on Twitter at a disaster queer. I use they them pronouns, and I am playing Nell, who uses she they pronouns. And Nell is a former and probably current hermit and nature witch type person.
Yes. Well, now that everybody's introduced themselves, we are going to start a little story today. Aldemora. Everybody has a different interpretation of Aldemora, but my Aldemora is it's a peaceful world. It's a utopia. Well, it was a utopia 5 years ago, um, before the attack of the Fall Skull disease. It's been 5 years since the elder wyvern Arumat, the wings that shake the heavens, had wreaked havoc upon the great city, leaving thousands of refugees in her wake. Now, today, we know so much more about the situation than we did in the past, but there is still a lot of questions we can't answer. Um, let's start with Aubrey. I'm curious, how long, who was Kestrel before the Fall Skull became a plague that it is? What were you doing before Arumat first attacked?
Um, Kestrel, I believe, actually like worked on a farm. She's pretty well built. She's got the muscles. Worked on a farm. Did farming things. Whatever you do on farms. I've never lived on a farm, so I'm personally unsure if like they just harvest things and they take care of animals, and that's what she did before all of this.
Right. Do you remember what had happened when Arumat first attacked?
Um, Vaguely. It was definitely one of those. I heard about it. It wasn't like near any of it, and it was just kind of like hearing from people about all of this chaos and everything.
Mhm.
And then just trying to keep things, okay at the farm, and then once like all of that settled down, like going out into the world to try to figure out what was going on.
Hmm. How about Carol? Would you mind just telling me who you were before the false cold became the plague that it is?
I was a stay at home mom. I
Mhm.
took care of my kids. That's basically what I lived to do. Um, yeah, that's the story, really.
Do you remember what you were doing when Arumat first attacked? Were you in the city? Were you out the city? Do you remember that?
I think I was probably outside of the city at least a little bit, and probably tried to stay that way, more thinking about sheltering my kids from it than anything else.
Mhm. Uh, for Nell, same questions. Do you remember what it was, what you were doing before the full scold hit our Aldemora?
Yeah, I was outside the city as well, probably a little more isolated than the
Mhm.
rest of the team, but
Mm.
I heard and felt it through the sort of mushroom networks and root networks and could feel the impact of this attack, not only on the people and the creatures, but also the plants of our world.
Right, right. Okay. Uh, what were you doing when Arumat first attacked?
I mean, I was just living my life out sort of in isolation in the woods, tending a garden and keeping to myself.
Okay. Cal, same question. Who were you before the false god became the plague that it is?
Cal was a personal trainer for hire. Kind of
Mhm.
he didn't like belong to like an agency or anything official like that. He just kind of did it for himself and a handful of clients.
Mhm.
Um, because like keeping himself together kind of came natural to him. So he distilled what he did and kind of passed it on to other people. Uh, could make a little bit of a living off of that.
Yeah. Do you remember what you were doing before when Aromat attacked? What
Oh,
where you were?
oh, he was having a nap.
Oh, okay. Very tired. Did the attack wake you up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is totally not because as a person I don't know anything about the lore of this game.
That's fine. That's okay. Well, a little bit of lore drop. Currently, you're all students of Tanaris Mall Specialist Academy. After Aromat had attacked, it all decided that this is what I want to do. I want to use my background. I want to use my training to help the monsters that you've all learned to know as friends now. Um, in fact, all of the monsters in this world, you've known and worked with, and they're all very this like I said, this world is a utopia. You know, it's been centuries since war has broken out between humans, let alone between monsters. Um, and one thing that you do know about the Tanara Small Specialist Academy, um, it grew out of a library. It grew out of necessity from a library, but it grew out of the 67th Historian Society Library. Now, this library is one of the more important, has one of the most important collections of folklore, religious belief, and cultural practices in all of Aldemora. It is the result of dozens of lifetime of work, and the library contains nearly all known examples of such practices from all across the land. The reason why this is important is because during your studies with the full skull, do you realize that sometimes the cure isn't really some it isn't really similar with all of the monsters. There's no one set cure. It all depends on where the location is, the practices of the people, the beliefs of the monsters themselves. So that is something that you do know. And in fact, you've all been called by your mentor uh to come here to this library because it's time for your first assignment. This is your first assignment as you have recently graduated as your as specialist. This is going to be your first assignment, and she did tell you to just stay in the library. It's been 3 days that you've been like coming to the library and then going home, no messages or anything. It's been 3 days. This is the third day that you are here now. What's everybody doing while they're waiting for a message from their mentor?
I think Carol is just like continuing to read as much as she can, learn as much as she can, being that that's like one of the things that she really focused on during her training was learning like the myth and legend of like as many monsters and places as she could.
What does Carol look like, by the way?
Carol is an older woman. So basically, she's an older woman to the point where like her kids have just left the nest, and she has decided that like this is like the next step in her life. She has long gray hair. She's kind of like weather worn, freckled. She wears brightly colored sweaters like all of the time, and has a piercing on her bottom lip.
Oh, nice, nice. Um, who's next?
I believe I'm just like trying to, keep up my skills and things like that. I mean,
Right.
I think maybe I tried reading it first, but
Yeah.
then I got bored because I'm used to like doing things and less of like
Right.
learning things, and so like I don't know, because like I have like a rope and a lasso and stuff. Maybe I'm just like practicing with that.
What
I
does
think
Kestrel look like?
Kestrel is probably like about 6 feet or so.
Mm.
She looks like she spent a lot of time out in the sun and things like that, so she's a little bit tanned. She does have glasses on that she does take off like when things get a little bit messy, so they don't break. She has red hair that's mostly just sort of like put up in a bun with some like braids and stuff, and wears a scarf as well. But does not wear sleeves, and so she shows off like her nice muscles.
Guns. Uh, Carol, you do see Kestrel being restless as you're reading. Um, I'm gonna say that maybe you're like playing with your lasso while while they're um Cal, you're in the library too. What are you doing in the library right now?
Cal has also found himself a book. Um, I got a question though. Like, what kind of a library is this? Was it just
It's a very big library and it connects to a school, and basically the library has been there much longer than the school, but the school is 5 years old.
okay?
Mhm.
Uh, Cal has found himself like a high fantasy nonfiction or fiction book, and I don't know whatever like this world's parallel to Dragonlance is. He's reading
Um
through one of those.
yeah. Um we could say it's historical fiction because
Okay.
dragons do exist in this world. So it's historical fiction and you're really digging the story, you're really enjoying the book. Um and it's when you are reading it's when you're reading like just getting to the good part. Everybody receives a text, but before we go to that text, Nell, how are you and how do you find yourself in the library?
So I think that Nell had originally been sort of holed up in a corner of the library,
Mhm.
but seeing Kestrel like starting to like play around with the lasso, she sort of moved to a better vantage point and is now sort of trying to sketch out like what it
Mhm.
is that Kestrel's doing. Nell is sort of a person with brown skin, sun patches of vitiligo on their face and shoulders. She wears a large sun hat, even indoors, some large glasses, and has silvery hair that's pulled back into a braid, along with a variety of sort of clearly handmade ornamentation and trinkets that she's wearing, like around her neck and on her wrists. But yeah, watching Kestrel trying to draw out, haven't had a lot of time to study other people, so it's a nice change of pace.
Awesome. Cal, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. What does Cal look like?
Cal is kind of he's a little bit tanned. He's got a kind of steep hunch to him, um, from just I don't know. It looks like he's been carrying a giant backpack his whole life, but he never has.
Right, right. You
He's
know,
got yeah, he's got kind of long, scraggly brown hair. Always wears a lab coat. Has his hands in the pockets.
awesome.
Probably not while he's reading.
That would be a skill.
All right. Everybody, your phones all ring. And it is your mentor. Um, you know your mentor's name is Aurora. And the text will read as follows. Hey team! So first of all, congratulations on graduating. But it's time to make your first move as a specialist. There's something going on Cesar, and if you could just like meet me at room 5436 at once! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. That is the text that you received from your mentor.
They're always so excited.
Yes. Um, that is your mentor Aurora, and actually, how long? So in Tanaris Mall, Specialist Academy, you all studied. The way it works is that when your mentor sees or thinks you're ready, then that's when you get to go. How long have you been a student in Tanaris Mall Specialist Academy? Maximum of 5 years because 5 years is when the monster attacked. No minimum. How long would your character would have studied before you think their mentor would have been like, all right, I think you're ready?
I think like 2 years. I feel
Okay.
like I'd be like a relatively quick study, but I'd want to like take my time too.
Okay.
I have like a lot of life behind me, so I feel like that experience probably helped.
Some people take some people take 2 years, some people take a month. Um, there have been people who've been there for 5 years and haven't been chosen just yet. But yeah. What about everybody else?
I
Turn-
think. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think Cal is relatively new. He's been there maybe a year.
Mhm.
Uh, he was recommended this late because while he definitely has skill, he doesn't show it. He has a very
Mm.
kind of lazy appearance.
Okay.
Uh,
Um,
for
no, go ahead.
now, I'm going to say about 6 months. And is it that she's ready, or is it that Aurora wants to get rid of her? Who can say?
Yeah,
And what about
I was gonna go with maybe roughly about a year or so.
Hmm.
It's maybe a mix of the fact that Kestrel has a lot of animal handling experience from growing up on a farm, and maybe the fact that Kestrel is very much doesn't do well with being like stuck in one place for a very long period of time, starts to get restless, and it's like you've broken too many things with that lasso. We need to get you out of here.
So, since most of you have been here for at least 6 months,
Mhm.
you do know that your mentor, Aurora, is monster touched. And that means she has certain abilities that is based on the monster that has basically touched her, you know? Aurora every morning wakes up randomly either as a teenager, a young adult, an adult, or a very old lady. Currently, by the text message that you've received, kind of clear that the teenager has the body this time. Um, what do you do? Do you go straight to 5436 or what do you do as soon as you receive this message?
Carol definitely just like puts her book back where it goes and then takes off.
Okay.
I'm like as soon as I read that message and I process it, I'm heading out the door.
All right.
It's something to do other than sit around in this library.
I think Cal stares at it for a second. Thumbs up. One word, no caps, not an emoji. Uh, closes the book, leaves it on the table, and heads off.
All right.
Yeah, and Nell will also just sort of read, process for a second, finish up one last little bit on their sketch, and then head out with the group.
Awesome. You all pretty much arrive around the same time. And upon reaching the room, you see Ro currently. That this is your mentor as a teenager, Ro, squat sitting on a chair. Basically like just
Gremlin.
the most bisexual sit ever, most uncomfortable seat, and she has um a what we call a niche here. She has a little bit of a niche and she's playing with it. Um and she's a teenager, but she's not. You've seen her multiple forms before. As I mentioned, you know her as Ro, the teenager, um, Miss Aurora as the young adult, Madame Aurora as the middle-aged, stricter teacher, and Grandma Fa, the very sorry, not Grandma Fa, Grandma or Lola Auring, the very tired matriarch. Um, she looks at you and says, hey, there's something really weird going on. This place, it's Cesar is like super weird, and you all know it's weird because of their so weird games, but and then she puts down her niche and brings out her cell phone and sends you a picture of Cesar is a very it's a it's a single spike of obsidian stone tower that spears the sky. It's a very tall tower with at least 100 floors. And Cesar is known for their very special games. Um, every time you visit there, there's a special game running, and it involves different floors, that kind of thing. But if you're a visitor, you can opt out to not join the game, or you can opt in to join the game. But you know all this about Cesar because it is a very popular place. Um, Aurora looks at you. Ro looks at you and says, it looks like everybody in Cesar has disappeared. There's nobody there. At first, we thought it was just a game. You know, they're just playing a game. But it's been 3 weeks and we haven't seen or heard from anybody in there. What's worse is Kalulu, the monster that lives in that tall obsidian stone tower, is missing. They don't usually leave they don't usually leave Cesar, but they haven't been seen for 3 weeks. And if you look at the picture that was sent to you, you see that it is a very tall tower, and at the very top is a nest where Kalulu usually sits. And I need you guys to figure it out.
All right.
Do you have any questions before you need to go?
Uh, do we know, was anything happening there, like right before this happened?
Honestly, it's very weird. It's a very weird place because everybody's like super into their games there. They have such weird games. Like I said, we just thought that they were playing games. It's been 3 weeks though, and I'm concerned. The people outside are concerned. They haven't heard from their visitor friends there. Nobody's heard from the families there. It's weird. And Kalulu doesn't usually disappear this long. That's what Rose says.
I guess the only question I have is what do we know about Kalulu? Is this something that they could have done? Like, is that
Well,
like something that they're able to do? Like, make a bunch of people disappear?
um, why don't you roll something for me? We're gonna go to the diagnosis phase now because we're trying to diagnose what's happening, even though we haven't seen her yet. Let me see. I have a lot of stuff. All right. So why don't you pull a no, not a pull thread. Um yeah, go ahead and roll pull a thread just to see.
Sure.
So that would be plus a lore. That's
Eh,
2d6s plus your allure.
Yeah. I rolled a 6,
All
which
right.
is not
Well,
great.
Ro looks at you and says, "Well, I don't know. Honestly, all you really need to do is the library. I'll give you like you guys have like 2 to 3 hours before you need to go because James is on his way. And James is somebody that you've seen around that just sort of like shows up and then takes different teams out to the different places. So you have like 2 or 3 hours to do some research. After that, you can go. So you can go to the library. You can start collecting some supplies. But what we're going to do when you're done talking to her is we're gonna go do some rolls together. So, yeah, Ro looks at you and goes, I mean, what do we really know about monsters? We've been hanging out with them for so long and we don't really know a lot of things, especially now that the false gold has changed a lot of their, stuff. So, it could definitely be them. Uh it could be not them. But you do see a picture of the tower. So, um yeah.
We don't know much about monsters, but what do we know about people? Do we know anyone who's gone to visit the tower since Kalula first disappeared? Have they disappeared too? Or was it everyone all at once?
It Nobody has been in and out from what we've seen. Ever since Kalulu disappeared, nobody's been in and out. Kalulu does leave every now and then, but never for this long. And it's been really quiet. Nobody is, from what I know, nobody has really gone to the tower since since Cesar.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
So you said it's been really quiet. Does that mean that it's not just the people that have left? That the wildlife isn't making noise either?
well, in the tower, they don't really have much in the way of wildlife there.
That's fair.
Outside, it's fine.
No stray
Okay.
cats or anything.
I mean, they probably do, but it's been really, really quiet. Like the whole place has been abandoned,
Hmm.
which is not possible because it has a
Hmm.
100 floors and it's a really big tower. It's like each floor of the tower is the size of a mall floor,
Oh,
like so it's pretty big.
a lot of people to go missing all at once.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'm gonna leave you guys to it. And Aurora does like Ro just turns and goes, "You guys can take care of it," and she continues to play on her video game. Now.
Mhm. Um,
Um. All right, you have basically currently you have 2 to 3 hours to prepare. Um. How would you prepare for this? Um. Let's go with Kestrel first. How would you prepare to for this moment when you need to go?
prepare. Um, I would probably read up or try to remember anything I particularly might have heard about the monster.
Okay.
Um, and then maybe think like, could there be possibility of foul play?
Okay.
Like some like not so great people doing some not so good things.
All right. Well, why don't you roll since you're using since you're trying to read at the library, why don't you roll for acuity for me?
Cutie.
Yep.
Yeah. And I do have a background for monster biology.
If you want to apply it, that's fine. You just can only use it once
It's
during the
true.
session.
Um, I think I'm gonna save that for later,
Okay.
and not the diagnosis phase.
Yeah.
Um, I got an 8.
Awesome. So with an 8, you do know that sorry, would you mind repeating the question again? Or
Um,
you're just researching, right?
I'm researching sort of like what do I know about this monster? Like, what is its
Right.
capabilities? Things like that. Um, yeah, that's the big thing I'm going for right now.
So Kalulu is a very interesting monster. It's something between like a dove and a gorilla. So the head of a dove and the body of a gorilla, it has thick arms of like able to like climb the tower without having to go
Mhm.
inside. It's a very big dove
It's
head
such an
gorilla.
interesting picture in my head right
If
now.
if what you're thinking is a dove head and gorilla body, that's
Yes.
exactly what Kalulu is like. It is a dove head and gorilla body that just climbs, and it also has wings. So sometimes it flies, sometimes it climbs. Um, you do know that the monsters, since the monster can't really go in since it's a big one,
Mm,
it mostly just stays on the roof, at the very
mm,
top of this tower, and it's known to love children in that sometimes the people of Cesar would send their children up to just hang out and talk to Kalulu, and Kalulu would
mm.
sing to them and
Oh,
or tell them stories. Um, some would say that Kalulu is just waiting for her turn to have a kid, but yeah, that is what you know about Kalulu. But you know. Mostly, Kalulu talks to children. So, Nell, what are you doing to prepare?
I think I'd like to try and research. Are there any favorite snacks of Kalulu or anything we could do to try and get her on like her good side if we could find her?
If you can find her.
Without,
Um,
yeah, bringing her kids, I guess, because there are no kids anymore because they're all missing.
that's true. Um, Go ahead and just roll also acuity for me, please.
That is a 10.
All right. Just like gorillas, they like fruits. Um, and nuts and berries like that. So that is something that you know very well about Kalulu. Um, Also, pancake and syrup. So that is a very special Kalulu snack that they like.
so we have brunch.
Pretty much brunch. That is something that are you preparing to grab some?
Yeah, if there are some like fruit trees around like the library or the school, I'd love to sort of grab some stuff that I can transport easily to bring with us just in case we need to try and lure them somewhere.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll another acuity for me, please.
That one was 3.
You try to get some, but you're unable to find really good ones. So they're okay, I guess. They're acceptable, but they're like you can tell that you might need to find different ones when you get there. I am not going to add a supply because that was a supply roll. And if you roll really low, I take away a supply, but we only have one, so I'm not gonna take away your only one supply. Next, we'll go with Carol. What is Carol doing, and how are they preparing?
Well, she's a reader, so she's also gonna do research, but I think um she wanted to focus more on like the city and the
Yep.
surrounding area, and see maybe like is there a place that many people could hide? Like, is this really just a giant game of hide and seek? Or is there like somewhere that they could have disappeared to, or are they like just like poofed somehow?
Okay, go ahead and roll acuity for me, please.
Sure. Ooh, that's a 9.
All right. So, what you do know about this area is that the area around it is flat. Like it's one of those things where like there is a lot of vegetation, but it's like not tall. There's bushes around. It's a bit dry of an area. Um you can see, like, if you're driving towards it, which you will be later, you can see it from afar because of how tall it is. There's nothing really much in the way of people. Like they have played hide and seek games. This is something that has happened before, but usually it's like 5 floors, and then they'll just go up a couple of floors and you have to find them kind of thing. Never has it been where it's everyone in that tower. And like I said, there's 100 floors, and each floor is as big as, let's just say that everybody who lives there is the same amount of people who live in California. Can't hide that many people.
So it's not like they're like in the mountains and they could have like found a cave or something like that. It's like there's
Mm,
nothing around.
There's really nothing around other than, little like half tall shrubbery. It's a nice place, but it's very quiet now. Another thing that you know about Cesar is that these people are very playful. They have many, many different kinds of games that they like to play. One time they played where everyone had to walk around blindfolded for about a week. And there was really not much in the way of like winning. Like, in fact, the only time people really won was when the elders of the city decides you're the winner. But like there's no like, and everybody accepts it. But nobody can really explain the rules of the game. And they all have different games every season. It's very, very different every time. That's why it took so long for people to react, because they just said, oh, all right, well, they're doing the whole disappearing quiet thing, until it's been 3 weeks and nobody has come out, nobody has come home. Cesar is also a very it's a very famous tourist place. People like to, because if you're a visitor, you can opt out of the games and watch it as it plays. um but if you live there, you have to participate in the game. But even visitors haven't come out. Cool. Cal, how are you
Uh,
prepping?
uh, Before that, I have an very important physiology question about this monster.
Mhm.
Uh, Gorilla-sized dove head or dove-sized dove head on the gorilla
A
body?
gorilla-sized dove head. It is a very big dove head with gorilla-sized wings, but like the wings and the head are dove-like, but the gorilla is like a gorilla body. Like
Okay,
he's gorilla.
I just wanted to know how silly this was.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Cal is wants to look into the disappearance specifically.
Okay.
He wants to look into any sort of like, are there myths or legends? Are there any, local ghost stories about just mass disappearances, that sort of thing.
Go ahead and roll acuity for me, please.
Okay. Oh no, 5.
This is the first time you've heard of a mass disappearance this big.
All right.
All right. Is anybody else doing anything to prepare, or are we all just reading? All right, cool.
I think Carol would like ask what other people have like found out.
Okay.
Like, has anybody gotten any like good tidbits?
I will, talk about the whole dove gorilla, thing, and all of the other stuff I read about.
Holding out like an apple or something. The tidbits I found were thoroughly mediocre.
They
I
were
might
not
be able
very
to
good.
help with that. A mom always carries snacks. So
Ah.
I do have like the 5 prep thing.
Yeah.
So maybe some of that could be like a nice like snack thing from my pack rat. Yeah, from my pack rat thing.
Yeah. So basically, your 5 prep does count now as one whole supply.
Okay.
So you now have 2 starting supplies. Cool. Awesome. All right. It's been 2 hours, and you see this van stop in front of the library where you're all standing in front of, and they're saying, "Out out of the van comes James." And James is a very tall, very pale redhead guy, and he's here to pick you up for the long drive to, well, I say long, but it's an hour, 2 hours drive to Cesar. This isn't a very far city from you all, so you're all riding the car. James opens up the door and says, "All right, well, are you all ready to go?"
As ready as I'll ever be.
I
Yeah.
believe we're as ready as we'll ever be.
Awesome. Well, go ahead and ride, and I will drive you to Cesar. Um, I see Ro isn't coming this time. Well, she hardly ever comes anyway. Are you guys ready for your first assignment? I hear this is your first assignment, and basically James is trying to make small talk while you're traveling.
Carol's super down for small talk, so like she'll like talk his ear off. So like yeah, like I'm super excited. Like I've put a lot of work into this. It's something very
Of course,
different from what I used to do.
of course. Have you heard what's happened in Cesar? I believe that's where you're going, right?
Yeah, that's where we're going. Yeah, everybody just disappeared apparently.
Yes, it's very strange. And I'm saying that the whole place is strange anyway, but this is pretty strange.
It definitely seems that way. A lot of people and no place for them to be hiding, really.
Yeah. And also Kalulu, she's been gone for a while as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're in the same place. I hate to think that it's Cthulhu who's like done something, but I mean that's what we're here to find out and hopefully fix if that is the case. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
like, I hope it'll be fine. And as you are driving, is there any other conversations that you want to have while you're in the car? It is a bit of a drive there.
Mm,
So you can have some conversations. If not, we can time skip to arriving there.
mm. I do want to go over what we think our plan might be.
Okay.
What are we doing when we get there? Are we just we
I
don't have a lot
mean,
of information to go on, so
taking a walk around, I guess.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking to see what we can see. I think heading to the tower first is
mm,
probably our best bet to see if like anything was left behind. We know people weren't, but we can see kind of the state that they left the place in. Like if it was like a hurried they ran away because it was scary, or if like everything is put away and they left of their own accord, that kind of thing.
Mm.
It doesn't matter much for me, but I do wonder, Carol, if we enter the tower and disappear forever, that seems bad. You have a family. Is there
Yeah,
s-
that's a really good point. I hadn't really thought that if we walk in, it might happen to us too. I was kind of thinking that this was an event. What if we, I mean, I wonder if stuff disappears. Could we try throwing some stuff in first,
You
maybe?
can throw the apple,
Yeah.
a sad apple.
I,
Um,
I simply wondered if there was a way to reach the nest without going into the building, but perhaps we'll be fine. I'm certainly willing to test it out.
I mean, is anybody good at scaling a very, very tall building?
James will look at you. It is very tall. It's, I
I'm
mean,
I'm up for a challenge, but I don't think
I
I
don't
can.
I don't think it's a good idea.
yeah,
Unless we had
it
like
would take
equipment
days,
for it.
maybe. It would take days, maybe. You
Mm.
just get there. I do know
I
that there's an elevator inside, so yeah.
Okay. I mean, as long as we don't disappear going inside.
I mean, no one's really gone inside.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're
So.
walking into, really.
Which is why we throw the apple in first. The apple stays there. We don't have to worry about it. We aren't going to vanish and join the rest of the people there. And we can
We could
walk around.
always try the tried and true tying a rope around one of us and one of us braves it. And I don't know, maybe you can pull
Mm.
us back out of the like ethereal plane or something.
Tried and
I
We
true.
do have a lasso.
I do have a lasso.
Well,
True.
well, I'm glad you guys are planning because we're here now. And you see and you have seen it as you're driving closer and closer. You see this really tall black building. It from the outside it looks like just a very tall rock. It's black and obsidian and you can't see from inside. And that's on purpose because they want to keep their games a secret unless you're there. You have to actually physically go into the building to be a part of the world. So that's why again another reason why it's been 3 weeks and nobody's been like, "Oh, what's happening?" That's why it's only took them this long to be like investigate
Mm.
what's going on. And you see it and there is a sliding door that
Mm.
will open and let you in. And
Mm.
James is well, we're here. I have to go cuz I have to go pick up some other people and drive them other places.
Have
But
fun.
stay safe. All right.
You
Yeah,
too.
drive safe.
All right. Well, bye. Have a great time. And then
Mm.
just leaves.
I have one idea to try
Okay.
before we commit to anything. This I don't. There's no way this is gonna work. But it came to my mind, and I'm like, I have to do this because I want to go over to where the doors are and let them open,
Okay.
and then I just
Um,
go. Hmm.
there it does open.
Hmm. Yeah, I look inside and I just go, Ollie Ollie oxen free.
There is no response. And
Mm.
what comes back is just your echo of your voice is echoing back to you.
Yep, nobody there.
All right. So how do we want to do this?
There are some moves that you can do,
Hmm.
like follow the trail. You currently cannot make a deal because there's nobody else around. You cannot pull a thread because there's nobody around to ask. The best way is follow the trail,
Yeah,
honestly.
I was about to ask who wants to be tied up.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All
Cool.
right. So you're tied up and Cal, you're just gonna walk in.
Yep.
Okay. You walk in and around you you see this wide sort of like reception area. It's a very big floor. and you can see it's quite it's like you can see the end of the mall. It's like I said, it's a pretty big thing, and it's empty. The lights are on. Everything is it feels like what a mall looks like if there was nobody there, but it's open.
Okay.
What do you do inside?
Uh, I turn around. I don't think I've disappeared. How
You
long is
don't,
this
you're
lasso?
there.
How long is a lasso?
Um, so it is my signature equipment, and it is a never-ending lasso.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You can keep going
Cool.
for a while.
Yeah, it literally says never runs out. All right,
Mhm.
cool. He's just gonna wander around, I guess. He's gonna stay in this kind of the like open area, but he's gonna go around and like look in any side rooms, just kind of start peeking around, looking for anything that's uh out of place, maybe something that says like what people were doing before they were all raptured or whatever happened.
Okay. We're gonna do follow the trail. Go ahead and roll with your acuity.
Oh my god,
Okay.
it's just everybody's gone to the rapture.
Uh, 8.
8. All right. So, I want you to go to the tab where it says diagnosis, and I want you to pick one of the bad things that can happen.
Okay. Oh. Oh, I break something important.
All right. Um, as you're walking, um, around, you accidentally step on something and it cracks. And when it does crack, you hear this very loud cry of a child. And you look down and it's a ceramic doll.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Did the cry come from beneath my foot?
It didn't,
Okay. All right, cool.
but you hear that crying child.
Could we hear that outside?
No, because
Okay.
it's all yeah.
How far in did I go before this happened?
Let's say you were in for about 20 feet.
Okay. Oh, so not that far. I can still like
Not that far. Yeah, you can still see them, but they can't hear anything that's happening inside.
I want to just like move towards is was it like a cry or is it continued?
It's a cry. Like they're upset that you broke their toy cry.
Okay.
Mm.
But there's somebody. So I want to move towards where I think the sound came from.
Roll
And just
another follow the trail.
I'm I'm not here to hurt you. God, if I roll low, I'm going to say something stupid. Oh no. 5.
Would you? Oh, all three are true. You
Okay.
disturb something that shouldn't have been disturbed. You lose the trail, but find somewhere interesting or anyway, and you also break something important. Um, we're just not gonna do the break something important because we already did that.
Yeah.
But as you're going in, as you keep going, like trying to look for the thing there on your peripheral, you see something like running, and you look at it and you try to see it, but you can't see it anymore. And on your other side of the peripheral, another thing runs. And you look, but there's nobody there. And then you're trying to look, but you can't catch them. But if you look straight, you can see somebody just sort of like running around. And if you work really hard to listen, it's small feet of children. Um, as you're running around trying to catch this, the rope does break. Because it gets caught on something. Everybody else on the outside, you don't hear anything. But the rope breaks and it's loose now, and you can tell that. I mean, you don't know what's happening inside.
Oh no, the ghosts got Cal.
Oh, I see that there was a range limit on how long we could go without disappearing.
Rest
I
in
think
peace, Cal. We
I think
hardly knew
Carol's
you.
gonna like walk up to the door and look in and see if she can still see Cal.
Roll acuity. Follow the trail. Actually, I want to see.
Sure.
Try to see if you can how where Cal is.
That's a 12.
All right. So you do see him, and you see him just running around trying to find something, and he's not disappeared. You just see that the rope has been cut because it's been
Okay.
caught somewhere. So
I'm gonna tell like everybody else, like I think he's fine. He's still in there. Like something just broke the rope. And I think I'm gonna step in.
okay. When you step in, and I'm gonna just forward your roll on it. You do see that there's dust everywhere. Like there's a nice layer of dust. Like something hasn't, like nothing has been touched here for the past 3 weeks. Um, the lights are on, everything that needs to be on is on, that kind of thing, but you can't see any sign of of anything being moved. There's a nice thick layer of dust on everything. The only thing you see is actually Cal's footsteps as he has disturbed some of the dust around. Oh, and the broken ceramic doll that Cal broke.
Okay, so when I look at Cal right now, what do I see?
You
Like
see
what's
him
Cal
like,
doing?
well, Cal, what are you doing as you see the running around?
um, he's just kind of like trying to. I shouldn't turn away from the mic. Um, he's just trying to like turn his head fast and like catch a better glimpse. He's not really like running around. He's just trying to hone in
Doing
and
like
focus.
the like double take kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And I think he calls out like, "You guys are good at this game. Can I play?"
There is, you can hear a giggle, but that's it. You
Okay.
will hear a giggle too, Carol, since you're inside.
Oh, okay. Um, so firstly, Cal, what game? Who are you talking to? And where did that giggle come from? Did you find somebody?
I think they're here. I know they're here. See them.
Oh, okay.
Carol, you don't see anything.
I don't see anything.
Nope.
Okay, so my motherly instinct kicks in here and I'm a little worried about Cal, but I'm not gonna let it on. Um, and I think I'm gonna try to play along with it in
Mhm,
case maybe he is seeing something that I don't.
mhm.
And like I did hear the giggle.
You did hear the giggle, yes.
So I think I'm gonna get down to like kid level. Maybe even just like kneel down and just be like, "Hello, like we're not here to hurt you. I'm Carol. What's your name?"
Roll pull a thread.
Pull a thread. All right. Ooh. Oh, that's 12 on the dice.
Oh, nice.
So,
You hear a
yeah.
whisper in your ear, and it says, I don't remember.
You
Oh,
don't remember your name?
I don't remember.
What do you remember anything? What's the last thing you remember?
My mom. And again, you can't see anything. Even like it's very different from Cal who can see at least in perfect. You can't see anything, but you can hear
Okay.
this young child.
When was the last time you saw your mom?
I don't know.
Okay. Where are you? I can't see you. I can only hear you.
I don't know where I am.
What can you
Um,
see?
we'll get back to that.
Sure.
Kestrel and Nell, what are you guys doing? There's now two people inside, and you can't hear a thing.
We can't even like hear them talking.
Nope. You can see them if you come closer, but you can't hear anything.
Look over at Nell and just being like, you got any ideas?
It's also funny because the door is wide open. You should be able to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that is empty. Oh, hear them.
Yeah, that's weird.
I will shout into the building. Carol, Cal, could you come outside, please?
You do not hear them, Carol and Cal.
Seeing the sort of lack of response, I'll say, well, that seems like it would be distressing, but I don't know what else we can do from out here.
Hmm. Well, shall we go in?
Nell sort of offers their arm like an escort. Yeah.
Yep. Lock arms and go in.
Buddy system. Gotta stay
Yeah.
safe.
As you both go in, the there's been you didn't know this Carol and Cal because you were busy trying to figure out what's happening. But Kestrel and Nell, you've been outside for a while and you've gotten used to the sound of maybe the birds flying around, animals, that kind of thing. As soon as you enter, you hear Carol and Cal sort of like making movements, but the sound of life from outside cuts off suddenly.
Nell
Like there's a
immediately tries
blanket, like there's a blanket of silence.
Nell immediately tries to step back outside.
Same.
You hear everything again, but you can't hear what's inside.
Well,
Maybe this is why nobody could find anybody or thought everyone was gone.
it is an intriguing way to make hide and seek. More high stakes.
Incredibly.
And we're gonna go back to Carol and the little child. And what was the last question you asked?
What do you see?
Dark.
Is there anybody there with you?
No, I'm scared.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best to find you, okay?
Okay,
Is there anything you can tell me? Can you hear anything? Has anybody visited you?
I can hear you.
Just me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stay put. I'm gonna find you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Um, you. She's quiet for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
You turn around and you see everybody now. You see Kestrel and Nell inside the building now. What do you all four do?
I'll stand back up and I'll turn around and I'll say, "Did you guys see anything outside while you were waiting for us?"
Only that
No.
this building is cut off from everything. I think that you couldn't hear us and we couldn't hear you.
Uh, Makes sense. When I came in, I could suddenly like hear Cal or like see Cal. That seemed to be different. But Cal, you said you saw something. What did you see?
I I think I think the kid.
So you can see the kid, and I can hear her.
I can't see them, and he does kind of this, but I can see them, and he like tries to indicate his periphery.
Okay, so they're
Even
like
un-
a shadow to the side.
even
Yeah.
until now, you can see them, Kyle. You can see this little girl, but like you can't really focus because it's at your peripheral. And she stopped running, but she's there.
Okay. Can I make out any details?
Um, from your well, go ahead and roll acuity for me, just straight acuity.
Oh, there we go, double sixes. Okay.
Awesome. Normally you can't really see very clearly with your peripheral, but for whatever reason you're used to like you're focusing really hard not to stare at it but also like get as much information. This looks like a child that is 12 years old. They're wearing a nice dress. They're looking at the broken ceramic doll that is on the floor and they're crying. You can't hear it, but they're crying. You can see that they're like crying.
I can I can get you a new one.
Carol, you hear the kid reply, "My mama gave this to me."
Um, I'll relay that. Like she said her mom gave it to her. And you said it's made of ceramic, right?
Yep.
Would I possibly have glue from my pack
Uh,
rat thing?
you
Maybe?
can if you want to use one of your supplies.
Should we start using stuff?
I
I mean,
mean, this feels like a good opportunity.
it does. It feels like it's gonna get us some info.
Also,
Okay.
just always help children as a
That
general.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Carol's like heart is breaking right now. So yeah, I think I'd like to try to fix the doll.
Okay. Since you are uh sort of like promised to help this kid, I'm gonna give you a plus hold one so that in when you succeed in making the kid happy or whatever, you can do one of the three things. You can gain one plus one supply, you can gain a session ace, or you can mark one clock segment as successful. The clock segment is great for like when you're ready to move on to the next phase because it's like additional like plus one for every clock segment that's marked successful. You are able to put this doll together, this ceramic doll, and as you're looking at it, at the bottom, like Toy Story, a name is written there, and the name is Cassie.
See? So the second that I notice that um I'm gonna say I fixed your doll. Is your name Cassie? Does that ring a bell to you?
And you hear her sort of like trying out the name Cassie. 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 Yeah, that's my name. It's my nickname, but that's my name. And as she says that, Cal, you can actually turn to look now and you see only you can see her, but Carol, you can hear. It's now the same with what it was with Cal before. You can see her at your peripheral, but you still can't hear her, Cal. But Carol, you can still hear her, but you can now see this child. Nell and Kestrel, you can't see anything.
Um, do you think I noticed that Cal can like turn and look at her now?
Oh, definitely, because he has just
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to give you the doll and ask you to give it to her
okay.
because I feel
Um,
like I won't be able to like give it to her.
he has it and he carries it very, very kind of carefully in two hands. Uh, hands it like kind of kneels down and to her.
All right. So she grabs it, and for you, Nell and Kestrel, you see it floating. But she grabs it, and as she holds on to it, and as she starts smiling, a little bit sort of vibration happening that you both can see now. And it feels like a haze has dropped from your eyes. And right in front of you is a 12-year-old girl. All of you now can see and hear her. Cassie, that's me. Oh, it's been so long. I can remember everything.
Do you remember what happened here?
Sort of. I was with my mom. We were visiting. And then everybody started forgetting. And everybody started being confused. And then everyone was gone. And I was so alone. It was so cold.
We are going to bring everyone.
Please. I don't know where they are. I don't know where my mom is.
Do you remember what game was being played?
Pull a thread for me.
Okay. Thread is allure. I'm bad at that. Cool. Why am I doing the talking? 6.
What'd you get?
6.
All right. The information that you're getting is wrong.
Okay.
Um, uh, because she's 12. I think everybody was playing dress up, wearing costumes. That's what I saw.
Okay. This explains things.
Mhm.
Everybody was wearing costumes. It was a
Ghost
costume
costumes.
party.
Where did they get the costume?
I don't know.
Okay. That's okay.
We opted out of the game. We were just going to the watch room to watch them.
Can can you show us to the watchroom?
I guess.
It'll help us find your mom.
Okay. And this is actually a great time for us to take a break. But before we go, um just checking on everyone. Everyone's okay. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, we'll be back in about 10 minutes and we're going to see what happens next. I hope we're on break.
I don't know.
We don't know. We're live.
We're live. Hi,
Hey!
we're back.
I've been biting my lip, waiting to be live, but we're live. Hey, hi everyone, we're back. Before we left, we were about to go to the watch room, where everybody goes to watch the games play out. Cassie is leading the team to go there. It doesn't take long because Cassie remembers it very clearly. But you are taken to the 58th floor, and the 58th floor has a lot of TVs everywhere, and it's all on. You can look at like any floor, and you can see what's happening on there on these TVs. That's why it's called the watch room. And as you're looking at all the TVs in this room, you see that the whole place is empty. Not surprising, but there's nobody there. You see a floor that's just full of grass and like it looks like it's outside, but it's definitely a floor that's within the building and there's nothing there. There's no person there. You see an area that looks like a water park, again, still empty. There is a floor that's just filled with all kinds of mirrors, and there's nothing there. There's a floor that's purple. It's just purple. Like there's chairs are purple. The everything is purple, but there's nobody there. Um, what are you guys gonna do?
I
So,
think. Go ahead.
oh, I was going to say the first thing is that Nell will turn to Kestrel and say, "Is there another child's toy you can break? Perhaps we could find one who's more useful."
Cassie is like, I mean,
Thank you for
don't
saying that
break,
part out loud.
don't break any other toys. That's not very nice.
I wouldn't be breaking them. It would be her.
I'm gonna
Well,
look very carefully wherever I step to make sure I don't step on any toys.
well, thank you. Um, it all started from there. And then she points to the TV that shows the nest of Kalulu at the very top. And one thing you know as a monster care specialist is that false gold is clearly a sign of something happening or something that had happened to the monster. And everywhere you look in the nest, it's covered in what looks like melted gold. The nest, the trees that grow on the roof, they're all like drips of gold.
I think it's an understatement to say that does not look good.
However, that might have left a trail.
Sure.
Like if Kalulu isn't here but not here and has left, there might be drips.
Yeah. Do we know how to get up to the nest?
Just the elevator. Just how I got you to the watch room. The watch floor. I guess the watch floor would be better.
To the elevator?
Okay. Um so you're at the elevator and you ride the elevator up to the top floor, 101, which is the roof. And over there you see the same thing that you saw there. Melted gold everywhere. Um and what do you do? This is the nest of Kalu.
Um,
Also, Carol, since you did help solve a problem for the kid, you could choose whichever one of the hold one that you want to spend on.
What were my options again?
You can mark one clock segment as successful. You gain a session ace, or you gain a +1 supply. The marking of one clock segment as successful is great for when you're ready to move on, because it adds +1 like to the roll.
Does anybody have
Uh,
thoughts on what we should go for?
Uh, I was gonna see if like the false gold has a trail leading anywhere from here.
you can follow the trail just to see what you
Yeah.
can
I
gain.
feel like Session Ace is a good one just because it can be used.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
but you also have character aces that you
Yeah.
haven't really
Yeah.
I was trying to think if monster biology would work for this.
Yeah,
Because I'm
you
like,
you could
I'm
add
gonna just, I'm because like I wanna get this info, so I want to spend
yeah.
that
Go
background
ahead
and
and add your D4.
I had to look for a second for a D4. That's good. I needed it.
Alright, what was your total?
Because I got a 3 and a 2 on my D6s, and then I got a 4 on my D4.
Alright. So you got
Uh,
a 9? I'm bad at math.
7.
Oh, okay.
I think I
Pick
just succeeded.
you did just succeed.
I have to pick a
You
thing.
do pick one.
Let's disturb something that shouldn't have been disturbed.
Okay. As you're looking around, um, you understand that Kalulu is huge. Uh, she's a very big monster. But as you're looking around, you don't see anything that looks like steps or footprints or anything like that. There's nothing there that you're seeing. However, as you're looking around, you accidentally step on one of the puddles of false gold, and you start forgetting something important. You can't remember what you've forgotten, but you know you've forgotten.
Oh no, I've gone too herbo.
There's something that should have been remembered, and it you can tell me what it is that you've forgotten, but it has to be something that's integral to who you are, and you forgot.
Um, God.
It could be your favorite color, it could
Hmm.
be something that's integral.
Yeah. Yeah. Since you said it, let's go. Favorite color.
You suddenly can't remember what you can't remember, and you've forgotten it, and you look at your hands, and it appears to be a little bit translucent. You're not see through. You're just a little bit paler than usual. Extra tiny bit see through. And everybody sees this. You all can see this.
Oh, that seems bad. Would it not have been preferable to step on a child's toy?
Like looking at my hands. Help! I can't remember.
Um,
Well,
that's what happened to everybody.
You-
at least
They started disappearing. I started disappearing.
Did you get touched by this goo? Or did it just happen?
It just happened. It happened to everyone.
Hmm.
Quick, help me remember what I've forgotten.
What did you forget?
I don't know.
oh, you have forgotten that you've forgotten.
Yes.
They've forgotten what they forgot. but they definitely forgot something. And they'll be not translucent as soon as they can remember it, which is funny.
So I wear sweaters with like a lot of colors on them. So I just putting that out there. So I'm gonna say like look around and see if you see what you forgot.
I'm gonna make you roll for it. I'm gonna make you roll an allure
Okay.
uh for that, Carol, and Kestrel. I'm gonna make you roll for acuity, and you both have to at least get a 7 for this to work.
Come on, dice, don't fail me now.
Well, I got a 9.
All right,
I got an 8.
sweet.
Yay!
As you're looking at the sweater, it does start to. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
All right, you notice this one color that's calling out to you, and you're like, that one, pink. And suddenly, when you say the word pink, you remember that's what I forgot. My favorite color. And then you can see that your hands come clear.
I have remembered what I forgot. I forgot my favorite color. So yeah, don't touch that stuff.
So we need to make the entire tower remember
Remember what they've forgotten.
themselves
Yes.
Yeah.
because you forgot one thing. It didn't take you away. These people have lost their entire self.
This may take a while.
How do we do this?
Um,
If that's what we have to do, I think finding where the people live is maybe the best way. And Cassie seemed to kind of be called forth when her toy was broken. So maybe we should just start messing stuff up.
Well, I have a different thought.
Okay.
He was near her toy because it was important. I think you're right. We need to go to where these people live. Because if they're drawn to important things, then they will probably be close to their own home.
I suggest a more efficient alternative.
the
We could also break every toy we find.
Not that.
yeah, because I
Although
mean,
that is easier.
there's a lot of people who we gotta make remember things.
There's a
But
lot of
And
people.
there are
Well-
also tourists. Sorry.
false gold is centered here at the nest, isn't it? Perhaps if we made Kalulu remember, it would help everyone else remember too.
Hmm.
Possibility. I don't have any better ideas.
Now why don't you roll? Here's what I got. Carol, what did you spend your hold on?
I think the session ace.
Okay. So you have an extra session ace, an extra +4 to spend.
Hey, I got a 10.
Awesome. So pick one of the following. You actually pick two. Mark one clock segment as successful, gain a session ace. You know where the monster is headed next, and learn the name and effects of one wound.
What do folks think? I would lean towards a clock segment and where the monster is headed, but I don't know, maybe a wound would be more helpful.
The clock spin is good because that helps us like in the next
Mhm.
phase. And
Yeah.
we don't know where the monster is, so knowing where it's heading is very
Yeah.
good.
I
Okay,
also
Yeah.
thought both of those were good, yeah.
let's do those two then.
All right, so I'm going to mark one of your things successful. Um, all right. Where is it? All right. I'll mark it successful. I'm only gonna do two instead of my normal three. So you just need to mark one more successful, and we can go to the next part. What you do know about where the monster is headed, or is that it doesn't look like Kalulu has gone anywhere, especially based on the trails that you've seen. It seems like Kalulu is still here, just not here.
Perhaps we should break one of her toys to find her.
We did bring her snacks.
That's a much better idea because we learned that Kalula plays with children, and I don't want to break a child.
Favorite is children. Hanging out with children is her favorite, but I don't know if breaking a child is a good
That was-
idea.
that is 100% the wrong idea.
So
I
Food.
think
Food is
pull
food
out
is the
some
plan.
snacks and maybe like waft them around, get
Mhm.
that smell going. Maybe like break a few berries so that it's like really like aromatic.
okay. Go ahead and roll. I want you to pull a threat. Roll for allure just to see if Kalulu is gonna be responsive.
Do you want me to do it or do you want Nell to do it? Because Nell was doing like the snack prep before. Me? Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm rolling so well. It's a 12.
Awesome. So when you start breaking out the snacks, it doesn't it doesn't stay for very long, but you do see a form on there, a big gorilla shaped form. You can all see it only on your peripheral. You can't hear it, but you do see it.
Okay. So she's here. So we need to keep reminding her. Um, she likes to tell stories to kids. So maybe we should tell some kid stories, like your favorite story from when you were a child. Did Cassie come up with us?
Yeah, Cassie's here.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know, like Cassie, what's your favorite story?
Um, I like I like Goldilocks.
Okay. So I'll like sit down where there's
Mhm.
no goo. And I'll just like I've definitely told this story a million times before, so I'm gonna tell the story and hope that that
So
kind of like brings her out.
since we're moving towards sort of synthesizing a cure, anybody can roll 2d6s for me and add a +1.
Do we all roll or just one of us?
One only one person roll and add a
I've
+1.
rolled a lot, so somebody else roll.
I'll do it. I got dice in my hand.
Okay.
7.
All right. And you have a +1, so 8. So choose. Do you want to gain a critical ace or ask the guide one question about the cure?
I will ask you a question.
Okay.
Question is good. We can get some answers.
A specific question about the cure, and I will have to answer honestly.
Now, can I confer with the group, or is
Of
this
course.
me? Okay, all
No,
right.
you can confirm. It's a
The
group thing.
the thing that comes to mind is how can we use the gold trail in synthesizing a. That's that's the thing that immediately comes to mind as something important. But does anybody have any ideas?
Does seem like a pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How can we use the gold liquid whatever? Yeah, no, you gave it a name.
False gold.
The false gold.
False gold. How can we use the false gold in synthesizing a
You use it in the fact that you don't need the false gold to that you don't need the false gold to make the cure. And the cure, it looks like this time, isn't a physical application.
Okay.
So that's just a bonus because I don't want to say that, well, you can't. There's no use for it. That's not very helpful. So yeah,
Could is it reasonable to say that the cure is an explicit lack of false gold?
it
Like
could
we
be,
need
but it how you can make it
or
go away is
part of
a
the cure.
physical is not a physical movement because it's
Okay.
part of Kolulu at the moment. And the cure, which we're gonna go to the synthesis phase right now, the cure isn't something physical.
Okay.
Everybody can move to the synthesis page so that you can see if there's anything you can do with the synthesis.
Can I turn to Cassie and say, I'll give you a bracelet if you tell me where we could learn more information about Kalulu? Was there a newsstand or any exhibit about what she liked?
I guess you can know more about it if you go to the winners floor.
Do the winner's floor?
Thank you, Cassie. You're less useless than I thought you would be. And I will hand
Hey,
her a bracelet.
that's not very nice, but I like the bracelet. Thank you. And you let's time edit to you guys reaching the winner's floor. The winner's floor is a floor that has bamboo all over. It's like a path of bamboo. And on each bamboo stick, you see a lot of different names written on it. And it's just winners. And at the very, very end of one path, you see Kalulu's name there as a winner. But as you're walking more and more, you see that the names around Kalulu are fading. Kalulu's name is pretty clear, but everybody else's name around it is starting to fade.
Oh. Oh, this isn't just like the kids being unable to be sensed. This is the removal of memory? Actual existence?
Yeah, it's like these people never existed.
Like, eventually, if we wouldn't have caught this, we would have forgotten. Like, we would have forgotten about them.
Oh, there's still time for us to forget about them, or for the world to forget about us.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. I
That would be
think,
ideal.
yeah.
I could do with James forget.
What does everybody want to do? Oh, actually, since you did ask me a question there, or seeking wisdom there, now roll a lore. We're gonna do seeking wisdom, and I just wanna,
Yeah, and can I use my bartering as a ace?
yeah,
Beautiful. Oh, hey. Okay, that is 11,
nice,
14.
very very nice. On this, if you roll a 10 plus, my answers will be direct, clear, and actionable. Kalulu is the one that needs to remember who they are. From what you're seeing, because Kalulu is forgetting, because Kalulu is sick, she's forgetting everything. And because she's forgetting everything, it's affecting everyone else around her. And if you stay here long enough, you also will start to disappear. And that is what you understand from what's happening. The people from the far end of the when you first enter, their names are still pretty etched in. But the names that are very near Kalulu, they're almost gone. Kalulu needs to remember.
What if we like take a list of these names, go back up to the nest, and start reading them off?
It
Could be
might
something.
it might need more than that.
I don't disagree. I don't think that's going to bring her back, but it's kind of like a jumping off point.
Mm, that names, maybe telling stories, maybe reminding Kalua of her favorite things. Because I
Uh,
forgot my favorite color. That was the first thing I forgot.
I think we may need to investigate some room. If we find some stories about the children,
We're just if we remind her who she is.
the things that she enjoys.
Yeah. We start with something like that.
I wonder if there's pictures in like the living quarters of the kids, maybe even the kids with her. That might
you
spark something.
That would be
There's
ideal.
2 things that I would want you to roll. Shopping list and okay, here's the plan. A shopping list to see if you're able to find a place that has stories about Kalulu, and if you're able to find it quickly. Or also, okay, here's the plan, just for the since you gave me a plan. So anybody can roll shopping list and anybody can roll, okay, here's the
Um I could roll shopping list.
plan.
This is my plan.
Hmm.
Can I do that? Can I
Yeah.
take control like that? Is that cool?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
plan. Roll it. I'll roll for shopping list. Mostly it's because I didn't
Yeah.
want to roll for fine because I have
I
a
was gonna say
-1
I
for that.
also,
I
yeah.
think I think I'm the only person with a plus to fine also.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice, very nice. 10.
All right, Ted.
I also
Pick
got a 10.
two. Pick two of any of the questions that are at the bottom while I mark the clock successful. One of the
Okay.
clocks successful.
I think we already know what we need to make this plan work. We kind of discussed that. So let's go with foreseeable risks and one unforeseen risk.
Okay. Um, the foreseeable risk, the longer you stay here, the longer you start looking, the longer, and I am keeping an eye on it. The longer you stay here, the easier it is for you to start disappearing. That is one risk of this plan. The closer you are to Kalulu, the faster it'll start to disappear. Um, and what was the other question?
What is one unforeseen risk to this plan?
Um, Kalulu might respond in anger and throw goo at you, wherein you
Oh,
will disappear.
that would be bad.
Yes. So the closer you are, the faster you'll disappear. And the unforeseen risk is if you're at the top and you're telling these things, there's a chance that Kalulu might be angry and throw goo at you. So you need a way to block that from happening. Shopping list.
Yes, I got a
Ah,
10 for that.
you do
Going
get a 10 for that.
going to add umbrella to the shopping list.
I also was thinking
Yeah,
umbrellas.
umbrella is good. But I was also wondering if there was like a PA system.
I was about to answer
Oh.
that.
Ooh.
As you
Yeah.
are looking around the place, just to, like in like seeing the floor plan, because there's like like how in malls it tells you what the floors have.
Mm,
You find that there is a library, a historical library. And you also find, as you look around, that there is a PA system
yeah.
that connects to everything that everybody can just hear, because of
Mm,
course you want to have announcements made.
yes.
So that is what you see, and you know exactly where to go
Mm,
and where to get it. As for the PA system, you remember immediately that the watchroom would have the control for that.
yes. Because we'd be like, well, it may be dangerous to be up there and tell these things, but if we speak over the PA system, we could be far enough away that we don't have to worry about getting mind wiped by the false gold.
This is a good plan.
A
Yeah.
very safe plan. All right. What next? What is everybody going to do next? Do you want to just go ahead and go? You have 1 clock marked. You know what your plan is. Do you want to go straight to pharmacy and move to the symbiosis phase with just a +1, or do you want to mark another clock and make it a +2?
What does everyone else think?
I'm
I
good
mean,
to go
more
with just the
pluses are
+1.
always good, but I think our plan seems pretty solid.
Okay. Um, Go ahead and roll 2d6s. Anybody can do this, and add +1 to your roll.
I can do it. I have dice. And with the +1, that is a 12.
Nice. You gain a critical ace. I think one of you has one session ace
Hmm,
and two critical aces already, right?
I
Is that
believe
correct?
so. I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds about right.
So, two critical aces, and you can ask a question from below.
What question do we think is good?
Or you could just tell me something else.
Hmm,
But it has to be around like the similar steps. Because some of these statements you already know how you're gonna do it.
yeah.
Maybe there's something that you want to definitely happen during during the symbiosis phase type.
So wait, what are the questions we can ask?
Well,
It's not
it's not a
it's a
question,
it's
statement.
like it's a statement that you want to happen
Okay.
during the but you can't say I want the monster to be cured because
Like, I
you know
want to
Hmm.
succeed, please.
tell the
Please,
guide
PM.
that I'm going to succeed in this thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, do we want to set a trap for the monster? So maybe like if we do start doing this, the monster starts rampaging. We could make sure that it's that they stay where they need to.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds good to me.
I mean, I got
What
rope.
kind of trap are you going to set, and how are you going to put it there?
Because I was thinking of like standard like kind of rope trap where where it gets them around the ankle, uh,
Okay.
and they can't move,
Okay.
and we're gonna set it up carefully.
Right. You don't know if
Mm,
Kalulu can see you while you're setting up your trap. You're very careful. You're able to set it up pretty clearly, pretty easily.
mm,
But you don't actually know whether Kalulu will have seen you doing it, because they're invisible
yeah.
or they're disappearing currently. So, let's move to the census. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just hope they forget about this part too.
Let's hope they do. All right. So here's what we have to do. We are now on the different dices. You need only one dice from D4 to D12. Currently, everybody's only rolling a D4. Basically, we are at the sort of finish line. And tell me what you're going to do. And remember, you can only apply the cure sort of when you have control over the monster. So every roll you make has to be a success so that you can move up and the monster to move down. So maybe you don't get the monster to move down, but as long as you're on top of them by getting to D12, you can apply the cure. Um, Currently, you're on the opposite end. You're at D4, and the monster is at D12. The monster doesn't roll. You just have to make it go down you know, go down the tracker. So what is everybody going to do now?
Had both of my moves are symbiosis, but I'm like, I don't. They both involve me being there and able to wrangle the monster.
Hmm.
I mean, you can still be there.
Because
Um,
yeah, like I once like because I was like somebody should like um s- I'd say set him up is probably a pretty good move to start with,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to do it because I don't have fine.
um,
um. Oh yeah.
so yeah, I wanna I can do that.
Okay.
The trap's already like set, right? Or do we still need to actually
So
lay
the
it?
trap is already set, but basically with this one, it's gonna be whether Kalulu falls for it or not because you did set it up while
Mm.
like basically it'll decide whether they saw it and will not fall for it or they saw it, they didn't see it and will fall for it.
Okay. Um, I want to use my move of Slink to get in position to set it up first without being seen.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Rolling with fine. That is an 8.
Um
So on a 7 to 9, you have a moment before you're discovered.
so here's how we're gonna play that out. If you roll, I'm gonna make you roll the set 'em up.
Okay.
Uh, and basically, where is it? You have an advantage where you can re-roll twice and get the higher number.
Okay.
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 You can roll
So
twice and just get the higher total.
yeah. Okay. So set them up. Uh, 8 and 9. So
All right. Um,
I will set someone up perfectly. I'll give teammate +1 as long as they exploit the situation that I've created.
okay. Cool.
I will with me about to be discovered, I kind of want to put myself in a position where it's going to move towards both me and the trap.
Okay. So I am going to advance you guys on the tracker, but you are not. The monster is not coming down.
Yep.
So you are now able to roll. Actually, sorry. Would you mind rolling that again? Uh, for the because I forgot that you have to roll it with a D4 with just one D4. Again, you have critical aces where you can roll a +8. Sorry, not +8. 1D8 to your roll. If you could just roll that for me again with a set 'em up plus you're
Okay.
fine with a D4 with just one D4. My bad.
Ooh. Okay.
And we should might as well use one of our crit aces
You also have
Yes.
character aces that
Mm.
you can use that they do stack. So you can use the character ace that you have for fine. If you haven't used it, you can use the equipment. If you haven't used it, you just have to explain it to me. You can
Mm.
also use the two critical aces, and I know one of you has a session ace that you. It's basically a pool that you can share with everybody.
Mm.
Yeah. My equipment isn't particularly helpful, and my fine training is suturing, which also is not helpful in this situation.
I mean, suturing isn't that some sort of like you have to be like you're with the
Mm.
wounds and stuff, and that like that counts with ropes. It's just bigger, wouldn't you
I
say?
I sure.
Dude,
Who's convincing who? How does
I'm
this
giving you basically use it. I'm telling you to
Okay.
use it.
Okay. Okay, what is that that adds a D8 you said?
D4. It adds a D. So you're now rolling with two D4s. And again, you have a D8 if you so choose to use your critical ace.
Okay. Where am I? There it is. Yeah, I'm gonna use my critical ace because 2d4 is not a good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh and do I still have the advantage that you said since I'm re-rolling to
Yes,
set him up?
because you rolled on your sling.
Okay. Oh, well, this is actually a very good roll to start off with. That is a 12 for the first one.
Awesome.
I don't know if I need to roll again.
I mean, you don't because that's the high. That's pretty high, and you don't need to.
yeah,
Um,
can't
like
go
you
higher than that.
passed. I mean, yeah, you passed
I
already.
I I
So,
can. I can go to like I can hit like 16, 17.
all right. So, you're now at D6. Um, and the monster has gone down to D10 because you were successful in uh subterfuging in setting up. What else are you guys going to do next?
I want to at some point. I don't know if anyone wants to do before this, but I do have the move. What do you have in your mouth?
Okay.
And I want to attempt to grapple with the monster to pin it down.
Okay.
But I don't know if anybody wants to do anything before I do this.
You can roll it just to see how it would succeed if you're like, during the
Hmm.
moment. Basically, where you're planning it out. Go ahead and
Hmm.
roll plus fours. But this time only with roll your two D6s
Two d
and your
sixes.
plus fours. Because
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
aren't using the normal symbiosis move.
yeah.
I
And can
Oh, I was gonna say I still pick the like give a +1 forward to exploit.
You can, yes.
Yeah, from set 'em up.
hmm. So it's 2d6 plus whatever my thing is plus one.
Yes.
Cool. I will save my background of monster wrangling for later. Cause that is a 10.
Nice. So
And yeah.
when you do eventually do this, when this happens, when you eventually do this, um you are able to grapple the monster. So just keep in mind that that is a success for the
Mm,
future. Um and I'm already going to advance the clock. Uh, and the monster is actually under you all now. So if you're ready to actually tell the story of doing it, you can because the monster is under you and you have a D8 already. So you
Yeah,
can use
let's go
one more
for it.
critical
yeah,
ace.
let's go for it.
All right. So, basically, what I would need you to do is roll one D8 because you're at the D8. And you can apply any of the aces that you have. So you have one session ace, one critical ace. And if whoever is rolling wants to basically explain why their character aces work, you can add that too. Just tell me how much you're rolling and what you're rolling.
Mm, Who wants to do the honors?
It feels like it should be Carol, I think.
It
They
really does. The
Sure.
mom.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um so when it comes to like adding trainings and backgrounds, can I add like multiple?
Um yeah, but you have to explain how they're all like
Yeah, okay.
okay.
So to have them remember I'm telling a story, which is
Right.
something I've done a million times as a stay-at-home mom. So I
Awesome.
think that would give me one.
Okay.
Um This one's like a little bit further of a reach, but my acuity is like literature with like myth and legend. So I feel like it's like a better understanding of storytelling. So I feel like my like performance of storytelling would be good there.
You can
Um,
also use it for like you know more about Kalulu's exploits to remind them because of
yeah,
their myths and legends. So that
yeah.
one works.
And then this one is probably even further fetched, but like motivational speaking. Um, you can
Get
tell me to
them
stop, obviously, but like
get
I
her
think
real
like
hype about learning about her
I was like,
past.
I get
yeah.
motivational speaking because it's like you tug at the
Yeah.
heartstrings.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give you 3d4s
Okay.
and a 1d8.
Okay. I'm going to find some more D4s. Maybe. Don't mind me.
This is an important role. So if you can add all of the stuff that you want. You
Okay,
can also
3
add the
D4s,
you can
a
also add the one
D8.
session ace that you have left. So that's another d4.
Sure.
Um you can add another critical ace. That's another d8. So that's two d8s and how many d4s?
We're up to 4 D4s. Do you
Yeah.
guys want me to use that extra D8 or yeah?
Do it.
Okay.
This is the
Okay.
last. This is the
This
last
is the
rule of the
last
game, I think.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the last roll. If you succeed on
Oh
this, then
man,
yay. If
that's
not,
so much
we're
pressure.
gonna end on a cliffhanger.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's an 8 on the 8.
Okay?
Uh 12, 19.
Awesome. The monster is healed. And I'm actually gonna tell you what happened. Based on everything that you told me. As you are Carol, you are telling this story and you're safe in the watch room. And you're telling this story about Kalulu and telling about and you found stories about the games that Kalulu likes to play and how she enjoys playing that with the children around. And slowly Kalulu starts appearing. And as Kalulu starts to appear, the pain of the pain of the sickness that she's feeling starts to anger her. So it's good that she's appearing, but it's also not good because she starts to get angry. She starts to get upset. And as she's remembering, she sees all of these people that she doesn't know. And she starts throwing like little goop of gold everywhere. But miraculously, it misses everyone. It almost hits Cal, but it doesn't really because, Cal was able to prepare and was able to move away. Um, to stop this from happening, Kestrel jumps on Kalulu and sort of like tries to sacrifice herself for a little bit to just make sure that Kalulu doesn't, that Kalulu doesn't throw any more gold. And the story continues. At first, um, while Kalulu is starting to become clearer and clearer, Kestrel, um, being super near, is starting to disappear. But as soon as Kalulu stops, as soon as Kalulu is fully there, fully present, the gold also starts to disappear. And as the gold starts to disappear, Kestrel, you feel yourself coming back because you start losing a lot of you forgot your name, your age, but as Kalulu has started to come back, you're also coming back. And there you see Kalulu spent and you on top of Kalulu just sort of like cradling her as she is now um resting. And everybody, you hear first it's a small vibration of just whispers here. Oh, what's going on? What's happening? I'm remembering. Where's my child? What's happening? And soon the whole place that Carol, you see the watchroom just start to come alive with so many people. Um Kestrel and Cal and Nell, where were you at? Were you with Carol or were you with the other two?
Uh, I was with the other two, let's say.
Okay. Up there you see a lot of children just sort of like come back like a haze is falling off from them, and you see children just sitting down and as if they were waiting for story time with Kalulu. Um and everyone seems to have returned. And as everyone is smiling and happy, Kalulu looks at everyone. And also you Carol, you can also hear her talk to you. And she says, "Thank you. Thank you for making me remember. You are the true winners in my book." And somehow you know that the nearest names to Kalulu in the winner bamboo are your names, and it's all there. Like your name, and it's deep and it's next to Kalulu. And you are now monster touched. Basically, you can choose to a new move for you or update your move, but you are monster touched and you can decide how you want it to appear. If you want to suddenly grow wings that look like a dove wings, you can. But this is mostly for flavor. Sorry. You're now monster touched. And as what do you guys do? Sorry.
Well, we're done, right? We just go back.
Yes, Kalulu is looking at you and says, "Thank you."
I reach out and at the side of the dove head.
Awesome. You are welcomed to stay for as long as you want in Cesar, and there's a lot of parties happening, celebrating,
Party.
remembering. And um, as as you're going, as you're partying, you all hear one voice. You're like in separate places. You must be partying, and you all hear one voice. And this is what the voice says: "It's not over." And that's where we'll end our story.
Oh,
Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful time that we have had together. I hope everybody enjoyed it. This is the first time where I am introducing someone, and you only heard their voice. So, before we go, why don't everybody reintroduce themselves? Tell us who you are, where we can find you, and things like projects that you want to plug. Let's start with Aubrey.
Hello, I'm Aubrey. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Mad Queen Cosplay. I am one of the people helping facilitate and run things over here on Chaotic Wonderful, so you'll see me around a bunch. But also for my main project, you can find me over on Goblets and Gays, running things for those awesome, awesome people. And I have various other things. You can check it all out on my Twitter.
Yay! Next. Chickadee.
Chickadee, and this is Iggy. I stream here on Twitch at Chickadee93. You can find me on Twitter at YFNCW, stands for your friendly neighborhood cottage witch. I do a lot of D&D, TTRPG stuff on stream, with a little bit of video games. And I guess like the biggest project right now is I'm getting together some one-shots that are not D&D, as well as once a month I run a 5e campaign on Twitch.
Yay! Next on our list. Oh,
Oh
wait,
no,
We lost.
we lost somebody.
one.
we lost one. Well, I hope they come back. But before they do, Hito, why don't you introduce yourself and where we can find you and any projects you may have?
Hi, my name is Justin. You can find me at Tensei Dragon, TENSEIDRAGON, on Twitter. My primary project is the Bard Rock Cafe. We are a 5e podcast where everybody in the entire party has wild magic. Every time anyone casts a spell, anytime anyone rolls a 1 or a 20 for any reason, shit just happens. And occasionally our DM has to go, okay, we're taking a break. I need to figure out how to deal with a major NPC floating off into the middle distance.
Yes, of course.
I will also be on The Lost Caravan on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, or 7 p.m. Central, rather, running Interstitial. And it's just going to be a big Saturday morning cartoon crossover nonsensical thing. I have the absolute wildest combination of party members that I cannot wait to introduce.
Awesome. Well, Alyssa has their internet cut out, so you can find them on at Disaster Queer. I don't know what they want to plug, but you can find them there, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy whatever they have to offer. And I'm Glyza. I go by they them. I am everywhere on the internet as at Classical Glyza. You can find everything that I'm doing by going through bio.link/, Classical Glyza, where hopefully I'm going to update my schedule there soon. But other than that, I think we are good to go. Should I pass it on to you, Aubrey, to and
Yeah, I guess we are gonna be rating High Shelf Collective. So go check them out and whatever game they are playing right now. And yeah, we'll be back again soon with some more fun games.
uh,